1,000 years before Tang Dynasty, China is the largest economy and the strongest empire. And in the 500 years before, I answer your question. 500 years before, there's a Mongol Empire. Mongol Empire in this world is the largest economy and the strongest empire. 300 years before, that's Ming Dynasty. 200 years before, that's a Qing Dynasty. All is the largest economy and the strongest empire in this world. It's nothing to do with the Communist Party. Communist Party come to the China only 75 years. And Communist Party bring a lot of disaster for Chinese people, you know. They enslave Chinese people. China's successful is based on the huge territory, big population, non-stop 5,000 years civilization. That's all successful base. Nothing to do with communism. Communism is made by German, made in UK. Her name is Karl Marx. It's nothing. It's nothing to do with the Chinese civilization, right? China have no socialism. China have no communism. China have nothing to do with Communist Party. Yeah, you know, Russia was not communism, right? So, you know, Chinese Communist Party, they all never focus on a little money from your pocket. They have senior officer of the Communist Party. They are very rich. They have the 1 billion, 2 billion pounds in the property in UK, in United States, in Europe, not in China.
So where do they get the money from then? Where do they get the money?
They rob normal people. They enslave people, you know. They put the normal people into the prison. They ask the people, work for government free. And after that, they only arrest the young peoples. They sell the people's organ. You know, when you're alive, they open your body, take your organ away.
Is it true that they create
Yes.
birth certificates?
That's truth. That's truth. They take away. They're killing people. They're killing young peoples. Take their organ and sell you to the rich peoples. You know.
So
a lot of them.
You're trying to start a party.
Yes, trying to start a party, and we must overturn Chinese Communist Party regime. That's an evil regime. That is a very bad regime.
How many people in the party?
Yeah, we are developing. Yeah, we're developing. Yeah, thank you. So, you know, made in China was a lot of the things was made in prison, made in concentrated camp, That's why it's cheap. They never pay the salary to the workers. They never pay the salary to the staff. They only, you know, that is a bad thing.
So if you compare China, for example, with the neighbors like India, it's not like the China is not like top.
You know, China. I tell you that China is the largest economy.
1 billion, population. But it's so few, compared with India, the China is like much better.
I tell you that China's successful is based on the large territory, huge population, and 5,000 years non-stop civilizations. China is largest economy in this world for thousands of years. 1,000 years before, China is the largest economy.
Yeah, that 1,000 of years with this.
Try to understand.
Yeah, if you compare 1,000 of years with this like couple of years, it's not like China's better.
I tell you that China is successful, nothing to do with the communists. I'm against the communists. I love China. I love my Chinese people. I love China. I against the economy. I against the political rulers, against the regime. I'm not against the Chinese people. I'm not against the China. You know, China is a great country, is a great civilization, but against the Communist Party.
The other party came and take over the government.
What's that?
The same? For example,
1,000 years before, China is the largest economy. 500 years before, China is the largest economy. 300 years before, China is the biggest empire, but nothing to do with the Communist Party. Communist Party is very evil. They bring a lot of disaster for Chinese people. You know, in the 1960s, Chinese have 18 million people starved to death. That's under the Communist Party ruling. They take the food from the children's mouths, take the food from the mother's mouths. Today, Gaza only have 2 million people living over there. I think the thousands of the people was starved to death. Whole world support them to give them support, to give them aid. But in China, there is an 18 million people. 18 million people, what's this concept? In your countries, you only have 17 million people. In 1960s, 80 years before, no, 40 or 50 years before, there is 18 million people who starved to death in China. No one care about that because the Communist Party broke all information. No one know that. 18 million people, that's the whole population of the United Kingdom, was starved to death. Can you think about that disaster? Catastrophic disaster. Is Communist Party successful? Communist Party make 18 million people starved to death. In the 1970s, Cultural Revolution, 15 million people was illegal killed. 15 million people was illegal killed. Nothing to do with the judicial system. They just killed on the street. Killed on the street. That's a political campaign. That's a political persecution and killing. That's genocide. That's massacres. That's not the successful of the Communist Party. Communist Party make a lot of the trouble.
Cuba has a communist party and a communist government.
Yeah.
If you compare Cuba with China, it's totally different. It's like between earth and the sky. That's what I'm saying.
I tell you that Communist Party cannot make the country successful, rich. You know, Communist Party, they exploit people. China successful have nothing to do with the communists, nothing to do with the Communist Party. China have their own historical circle from the 4,000 years before. They have the 200 years as the top positions. And after 100 years, they have the low point, high point, low point as historical circles. But Communist Party, 75 years before they come to the China, they take over China. In that time, China as a historical circle in the low point. But today is a high point. It's nothing to do with the Communist Party. You know, for example, you know, rooster. The rooster. They're crowing every morning. The sun come out. Can you say that rooster makes the sun come out? Makes sun rise? Can you say that? Because sun, no matter whatever, the rooster crowing or not, the sun will come out. Sun will rising. It's nothing to do with the rooster. Nothing to do with the roosters. Communist Party like roosters. They sing some things, they talking some things every day. They say, I make China great. I make China rich. I make China successful, but not. China successful under his historical circle. Under his historical circles. It's nothing. No matter who managing China, China will become successful and rich.
So if somebody doesn't want to take over the government, that would be the same economy because it's like 1 billion people.
Yes, 1 billion people in the Qing dynasty 300 years before. China is the largest economy. I told you that. This is under the monarch. Someone take over, no matter who take over China, China will become the largest economy. Will become the strongest country in this world. Yes, that's my party can take over China. I will make the China successful. Yeah, you must understand. China's foundation is not communism, not socialism. China's foundation is a 5,000 years non-stop civilization. 1.4 billion hard-working population and big territory, huge resources. That's China's successful foundations. It's nothing to do with communism. Communists make a lot of peoples, they exploit the people. You know, you say China is successful, but Chinese people is poor. A lot of the middle class Chinese people, they have a lot of debt. They owe a lot of money to the bank. They don't have the property. In China, the government scamming. Yeah, I'll talk about the phone scamming, telecommunication scamming. You know, the Chinese government take advantage of the scamming calling to scamming the Chinese people's money. Can you understand? That is the legal government do some things. In the Myanmar, in Thailand, there is a scamming group that is supported by the Chinese government, by policemen. Can you imagine that? They support by the policemen. They support by the national security staff. Can you imagine that? Those governments to scamming his people's money as well. Yeah.
So is this a party in China or
In UK, abroad.
abroad? So what do you believe about Taiwan?
Taiwan now, they are, Taiwan government is a Republic of China,
Yeah, ROC.
ROC. Taiwan government is a legal government for whole China since 1912 to 1949.
Yeah, they have a different outlook. You
Yeah.
have People's Republic of China and you have Republic of China.
But Taiwan is a legal government still. Yes. So
So
next year.
How come that the Taiwan legal government of China has been boycotted by the rest of the world from fear of China?
Sorry.
China's legal government in Taiwan
Yes.
has been boycotted by the rest of the world because of fear of China.
No. Taiwan government was supported by the United States, by Japan, but because of there is two Chinas. Communist China and nationalism China. Communist China in Beijing and Communist China in Taiwan. Or the nationalism China in Taiwan. The But the Taiwan never give up the claim of the mainland.
I think
Never
the right
claim.
thing.
Yeah, they did the right things. Communism will fall. Communist regime will fall. They are very bad. They make a lot of troubles for Chinese people. So a lot of Chinese people, they're looking forward democracy and freedom. They don't like communist regime. Communist regime is very bad. They treat people like animals. They are police state. They are police state.
Can you tell me about the credit system?
Credit
Social
system.
credit system.
In China, we don't have the social credit system,
I heard
but they are building. They are building now. They are building the social credit system. They want to put every people under the monitors. They surveillance every people. They monitor every people's. They want to monitor what are you talking, what are you writing. There is no freedom in China, no human rights in China. Even they don't care about that. The human rights, yeah, human rights is very, very important.
what part of China are you from?
Sorry, I come from the Beijing. I come from Beijing. Yeah, North Korea. Yeah, North Korea is very dangerous.
What? It's a proxy for China.
I'll talk about the Taiwan. I'll finish the Taiwan. Next year is a deadline for Beijing government to take Taiwan. They have a by force a national. Yeah, it's a national policy by 2027.
What month?
What month I don't know, but any month, because there's a war. If you start a war, You never tell the other people what's the time.
Let's say 2027.
2027, maybe 2026, maybe 2028. But you must keep your strategical purpose. Yeah, keep secret. Then you can keep your soldiers safe. If you tell your enemies what's the time, your enemy have the preparations. You cannot do that. Yeah.
If China invades Taiwan, who will come to Taiwan's aid?
I tell you that in the 2020-27 is a deadline for the Beijing government to take over Taiwan. The by force, but only by force. They will only by force. The Beijing government never have the peaceful negotiation with Taiwan government because this is the two legal government for whole China.
Because that could
The
help
big-
America.
Yes, Taiwan was supported by the American, by UK, by Europe, and even by Japan. So when China take over Taiwan, invade Taiwan next year, maybe 2027, Japan, United States, Europe will join in the wars. Will join in the wars.
It will be similar to Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine.
Probably.
Lasting.
You know, there is two groups fighting each other. One is the United States lead NATO group. Another one is China lead China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea group. So those two groups fighting each other in the international stage. The World War III is already started from 2022. That's Ukraine war. Ukraine war is a proxy war. Ukraine backed by United States and Europe. Russia backed by China and Iran. Does everyone know that? So Ukraine war is a proxy war. Ukraine war is Europe theaters. Europe, yeah. Ukraine war is Europe theaters for the China and United States World War III. In the Middle East, let's be fighting.
Just want to make money out. No.
No, China supports.
Winning because Russia is becoming more and more dependent on China.
You know,
That's what I said. They
yes.
want to make money out.
In the past 3 years, because of the Ukraine wars, Russia became the semi-dependent country of China.
And if China,
Economically, militarily, manufacturingly, and politically.
but if China has war with America, America's going to be dependent on God because it's going to go through hell.
China, well, I told that in the Middle East, we have Middle East theaters. That's Iran and Israel. Iran and Israel, they are also proxy wars. Iran backed by China, Russia, and North Korea. Israel backed by United States.
Iran backed by China.
Yes, Iran backed by China, Israel backed by the United States.
I've got a question.
They are proxy wars.
I've got a question. But there's daily protests in Beijing about the people, about economics and money and everything. They big protests against Xi Jinping. So will he last or is he actually going to step down? So there's daily protests.
No,
Is he gonna step
in
down?
China,
But there's daily protests.
there is no protest.
Down on them.
No protest in Beijing, you know. There's not allowed. If you go to the street, like me, make a public
Are you allowed
speech,
to protest?
no, Communist Party is not allowed the protest. Not
Do you
allowed.
remember the Tiananmen massacre?
Yeah, it's 1989. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
You have one group that say anything, 2 minutes there, clean up.
2 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour,